The PCB we'll be using to demonstrate how to solder SMD components was created in EasyEDA, a free online PCB editing software that has a huge library of components, and it is easy to use. EasyEDA makes it easy for you to order your PCB by the help of JLC PCB. You can easily order your PCB design with a click of a button and order components thanks to an automatically made BOM sheet. Your first order is only $2 and allows you to select multiple colors, link in the description. When soldering components such as microcontrollers, you always want to make sure that your chip is positioned correctly. Most chips have a dot in a corner indicating what orientation it should be soldered to. In this case, the ATmega 32AP-AU, which we'll be soldering, has a sunken dot in the upper left-hand corner. Using the dot located on the board, the chip can be easily taped down and be soldered. We use ESC tape to protect our chips in case of any static discharge. To begin, add flux to one side of the chip. Make sure to distribute it evenly so the solder can flow onto the pads. Be sure to add sufficient flux. As the saying goes, there's no such thing as having too much flux. For this video, we're using one of Hakko's drag soldering iron tips, which are very good for soldering jobs like this. First, apply a bit of solder onto the tip and then bring the iron close to the pad and start sliding in the direction of the pins outwards. Don't apply too much pressure, but also don't apply too less pressure. Do this for all 4 sides of the pins. Once finished, scrape off all the pins to make sure solder balls are displaced and that any bridges between the pins are removed. If you're still having trouble with a bridged pin, add some additional flux and then make sure your iron is clean, and then swipe your iron tip around the chip itself and flow it outwards. When soldering components such as resistors, it is important to tin only one side of the pad before moving on. This helps the chip lie flat when soldering on the first end. Using specialized tweezers, carefully position the resistor over the pad and heat up the tinned pad with your soldering iron. At the same time, position the resistor so it lays evenly between the pads and remove your soldering iron to allow the solder to cool and bond with the resistor. Same thing goes with the other side. Carefully put the iron onto the pad and the pin of the other side of the resistor and apply a little bit of solder. You can also add more solder onto your first pad to ensure a good connection. As for capacitors, the ones we're using are monolithic ceramic capacitors, so you can position such components in any orientations without worrying about polarity. Using the same process as for when soldering the resistor, you want to tin only one pad and then move on to the other pad. Make sure to allow the solder to cool before moving on to the other pad. Some components, like LEDs, are polarized, so make sure you check the datasheet to make sure you connect the LEDs correctly. And that's about it. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you have some fun soldering components. And thank you to JLC PCB for sponsoring this video.